back, everybody. It's Coach's Corner East on this Wednesday. What are we at now? The 17th of August, and heading into week one of the high school football season, and it's the Colonel Crawford portion of tonight's show. We're brought to you in part by Don Barr & Associates at Galleon Building and Loan Bank, Matt Studer at Spitzer Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Ram, and Kia, 1 mile east of the Richland Mall, as well as Mark Osborne and Associates at E-Crane International, serving worldwide markets from the Galleon Industrial Park. And pleased to welcome to the microphone a new head coach at Crawford, but not a new coach, nor a new head coach. It's Jake Bruner of the Colonel Crawford Eagles. Welcome aboard, and I know you filled in a couple times last year, but you have a different title this year, and of course taking over for Ryan Teglovic, who unfortunately passed away, and that's a tough blow for sure to a lot of people. But you were part of the staff, you understand these kids, you know these kids, it's not like an outside coach coming in, and congratulations on that. But not only that, you are now no longer the principal, you're the athletic director, Dave Sheldon's the treasurer, a lot of change over there. And if I remember correctly, or if I heard correctly, a former Winford coach is now your principal, is that correct?
Yes.
Mike Vold.
Yes.
Mike Vold.
Everybody thinks these people all worked at Winford the whole life. The guy's Marion Pleasant.
Right, and he was at Wapakoneta.
Yeah.
People would
a couple years at
remember.
Winford.
Just a couple years.
Yeah. Don't take too much credit.
So welcome aboard to your new situation. What kind of intrigued you not only about the head coach but the athletic director side?
The athletic director side really was about my family, believe it or not, because people think the athletic director is always gone and you're always at night events and stuff. But for me, I have 2 kids in high school now, so I was covering a lot of girls basketball games and boys basketball games because of Coach Sheldon and his wife,
right?
Coaching, and so it was kind of better for my family from a standpoint there. And obviously, wasn't thinking that was going to happen with Coach Teg last year. He's a really good friend of mine, and it was a tough situation, but felt like it was the right time.
Yeah, and we learn through everything we do in life that sometimes doors have to close for other ones to open, and sometimes those are hardships, but we managed to get through it. You're coming off a really successful season again last year, 10-2 overall, 6-1 in the Northern 10 Conference. You defeat Cardinal Stritch in the first round of the playoffs handily, 50-0, and then lost to a really talented Ashland Crestview team in the second round, 28-14. You lose 14 seniors, 4 of those being all Ohio, and need to replace a really strong runner in Lincoln Mollenkoff that rushed for 2,500 yards, but the cupboard is not there. You have 17 starters returning.
Yeah, we've got a kind of a good group coming back. A lot of them played different roles last year, and obviously they'll have a bigger role this year. And we lost a lot of key guys, but returned a lot of key guys. And then we got some youth to go with that too. So we're kind of just, finding our way, finding who we are, and it's exciting every year to have a different group.
Yeah, for sure. I read in the article that was on the Telegraph Forum, strong nucleus on the offensive line, quarterback and running back, great senior work ethic, chemistry, and toughness. That kind of surmises who you are and your identity as a team.
Yeah, I can't say enough about our group of seniors. I mean, we've got, I think, 16 seniors, and we got a couple new faces out there, but the group we have, they've just worked tremendously hard. They're great to work with, Got some different coaches on our staff, and they've just been like, man, these guys are great kids to work for, and they do a great job of leading our team.
Yeah, I as an outsider looking in and looking at the success that you guys have had the last 2 years, there were a lot of one-sided games that as sophomores, you guys as seniors played a lot of football and got a lot of valuable experience. Granted, it may not have been against other team starters, but in a lot of cases it probably was just because of a numbers standpoint. That has to be a payoff now for you, doesn't it?
It does. A lot of our kids have played even we have some guys that are going to start for us that played 10, 15 snaps every game on defense with the starting group. Mm-hmm. So now their role's going to be bigger, but they've got some experience, so that's what's kind of nice for us.
Parker Ketterman is alone All-Ohio in returning 60 tackles, 21 for loss, 9 sacks, and a fumble recovery. Gabe Thew was a leading tackler. He returns 107 tackles, 27 for loss. Matt Kleinert, 60 tackles, 3 for loss, 1 sack, 1 interception. Not to talk about what he did on the running side. And Cam Laurie, your quarterback who's here tonight, returns under center, threw for 1,274 yards, 14 touchdowns, 55% completion rate, only 1 pick, and he rushed for another 282 and 2 touchdowns. So got to be happy with those kids that are returning.
Oh yeah, I mean, we got a great group returning. Obviously, we got some guys that are got to step up the role. Some guys like Micah Thomas that got hurt last year. He's going to fill a very good role. Tanner Dyer has waited behind Tristan Cross and Lincoln Mollenkoff to play more.
Right.
And he's a good running back in his own right. And so we got some guys like that. And people forget, Matt Kleiner had almost 700 yards.
Right.
Blocking mostly for a 2,500-yard rusher.
Yeah.
You know, just people forget he's like the second or first returner rushing in the league back from last year. So
That's
he's
impressive.
returning from that way as well.
And you got Cam's got some nice wideouts: Trevor Vogt, Derek Horsley, Tristan Baker, Lane Wright, Caden Bruner, and then, as you mentioned, Matt in the backfield, 87 carries, 685 yards, 12 touchdowns. Tanner Dyer, you mentioned, he had 186 yards on 33 totes and 3 touchdowns, and Micah Thomas as well. And your O-line is going to be experienced as well, even though you lose some there. Ketterman, Jacob Lucius, Cy Bell, who's here tonight, Gabe Thew, and Eli Brewer, as well as Levi Johnson working in. So, and then that X factor, literally Braxton with an X, Braxton Morton as your kicker, 70 out of 72 PAT, 5 out of 6 field goals with a long of 27. That's sitting up pretty good, isn't it?
We hope. Kicking is one of those things that's a lot of pressure. So
Right.
that's quite a year he had last year. We're hoping that he can just be consistent for us again.
Yeah, very good. Take a break here. We'll talk to the young men around the table. We're brought to you in part by Stephen Chuck Keller, Keller Auto Parts, your Napa dealer, Uptown Galleon and Crestline. Dr. Thomas Britton at Clubview Vision Center next to the golf course in Bucyrus. Joe Kleiman Associates at the Galleon office of First Federal Bank of Ohio. Senior Cy Bell is up first, and Cy, I tell you what, the success of your basketball team last year, I saw a lot of pictures on social media. I don't know if you have more claim to fame as a football player or leading the Eagles Nest. What would you say to that?
I mean, I'd say maybe the Eagles Nest is leading there, but we got to get football back on top.
Yeah, absolutely, we do. And you return as a lineman. What you've done in your preseason and a couple scrimmages, what have you really liked about this group of linemen this year?
I mean, we're back together again. We had all last year together. We're all back, and I think everybody's just working their balls off like we've been doing for the last 2 years.
Yeah, so as a change in head coach, it's really not an unfamiliar face. You're not really learning a new scheme, still a wing T offense. Has the transition been pretty easy for you guys?
I mean, it's the same. It's kind of the same offense we've been running, and all of us, we know our rules, we know what we're doing, so we have it down pat.
What are some things that you and your fellow seniors have talked about? Because you've had success last 2 years as underclassmen. How do you say, well, we want to differentiate? What have you talked about, what you want to accomplish as a team?
We want to go farther than last year. We want to go farther than get stopped in the second round. We know we should have kept going last year, and we want to continue that this year.
Very good. Well, much success this year, and good luck as you start Friday night.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next up is Eli Brewer, a senior as well. Welcome back, and you're going to be on the line, both lines, right?
Yeah, mostly, yeah.
At what position?
Strong tackle and D tackle.
Strong tackle and D tackle. Okay, and kind of there with Cy and some other guys.
Yeah.
How's the communication been? I mean, you've played with each other, but now there's a lot of pressure on you guys as seniors to deliver. How's that communication
I feel
been?
like it's been better from over the years since we're all we all know what we're doing. So, yeah.
You feel pretty confident about it. All right. And staying quarterback, that's got to help you a little bit, but you're going to be, Matt's back as a running back, but still some new guys out there.
Yeah.
Have you kind of helped them along as practices and scrimmages gone?
Yeah, you got it, yeah.
And for young guys that are on the line, what are some things that you've been doing to kind of help them get up to speed?
Just tell them to keep working hard and, yeah, that's about it, yeah.
All right, very good. Well, good luck to you. I appreciate you coming back, and best of luck this season. Junior Trevor Vogt is here, and thanks for coming. I appreciate you. Really successful track season, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Does that translate good for you and the things that you're asked to do from a track standpoint, a very successful track program, to the football field?
I'd say, yeah, track definitely helped, especially last year. They see me on the track, and it helps me get out there a little more to the coaches.
And you're returning as a wideout, and you talk to Cam here maybe after practice, say, hey, slip me a few more balls. I'd sure, is it really come down to technique and your route that you're running, or is it just depend on situation?
I'd say our chemistry between me and Cam is pretty good. Knowing where I'm gonna be in the open areas, it's kind of just me and him communicating. Even if it's not verbally communicating, we kind of know what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Are there some nonverbal cues to say, hey, I can blow by this DB or this corner, I'm going to be open, or I know I'm supposed to cut it this way, but I may come back? I mean, is there stuff like that? Or maybe in between plays you're talking in the huddle?
Usually we just go based on the coverages, and I trust Cam to know if I'm going to be open. I trust him to know if I'm not going to be open, then hit another receiver. He's a pretty good quarterback, so.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, good luck this year. Enjoy it and have a lot of fun.
Thank you.
And finally, Cam Morris, senior quarterback, is back. And I guess my biggest question for you would be pretty simple. You've got to be feeling, pressure because you're a senior, you're a leader, you're the quarterback. But having one full season under your belt after Mr. Ritzoff graduated, that's got to make you a little less pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not as stressful. We've been in these situations before, and now we know what we got to do to prepare and to execute.
Has there been different expectations for you in that position that Coach Bruner has laid on your shoulders, or is it kind of just an extension of what you've done in the past?
No, not really. It's just been basically in the past. You know, you got to be a leader. You got to communicate, make sure everyone knows what they're doing, and.
You lose a back like Lincoln, 2,500 yards. Yeah, Matt returns. You lose some receivers. Is there ever any concern? You think, well, gosh, what am I going to? That adds a little more pressure, or is it just like next man up and I'll take care of it?
I mean, it's mostly next man up. That's how it's been. You know, Matt not having much carries last year, so he's definitely going to step up, and even some of our running backs who are behind Matt will step up.
Yeah, good. What are you looking forward to most this season?
Just playing with the team, you know, having a great season.
Senior year is pretty doggone special, so enjoy it, and I'm sure we'll be talking at some point again, so I appreciate you coming out. The show is brought to you in part by the Burkhart family at the Burkhart Farm Center, your Case IH dealer straight west of Gallion on the Manette New Winchester Road. Mike Kleinite at Ag Credit Residential Lending, Bucyrus, Mount Gilead, and Marion. Sweet Baby Ray Jones and Kendra Weaver at Ohio Door and Sash, 120 South Street in Gallion. Mark Osborne at E-Crane International, Route 598 at the north edge of Gallion. Head football coach at Colonel Crawford High School, Jake Bruner, returns. And Coach, you had two scrimmages, both on the road at Edison, and then at Hopewell Loudon, Division VII state state finalists that lost to Marion Local. How did those scrimmages go?
Good. I mean, those two teams are tremendous teams. I mean, we get to go play Edison every year. I mean, Edison was number 16 in the playoffs last year, upset Bellevue in week 1.
Right.
And the playoffs, I mean, they are physical. They run the triple option. They're just a great scrimmage for us. And then you go see Hopewell, and they like to throw it and run it. They got one of the best running backs back around. And,
Do they?
Yeah, he's a great player, and it was just two great scrimmages for our guys.
Well, you got Jimmy Hall at Edison as the coach, and Brian Calatrulio at Hopewell. Two good guys that have seen a lot of football, and that had to help you a little bit too.
Yeah, I mean, those are great programs. That's who you want to scrimmage. It's great to see, you know, yourself go against those great coaches and great programs. And, you know, I love those two scrimmages because they're both different. I mean, we're not going to see the triple option very much this year.
Right.
But they're really they're always bigger than us. They're physical. They play the run well. So, you know, it's a great scrimmage for us out here.
Yeah, so you talked a little bit about the coaching staff. There were a few changes in that. Who did you bring in?
Chris Solis is coaching our
right?
safeties and our special teams. David Miller,
Yeah.
that's coaching our quick side and our offense a little bit more than taking a little burden off of me. Mike Vole is helping, obviously, with our nose and tackles and our nickel back. And Gage Rowe is our cornerback coach, as well as the group that we've had returning.
Good. Are you happy with what they've done so far?
We're very fortunate to have the minds that we have.
Yeah. Was there a point where you thought to yourself, wow, I don't know if I can do this again? I was a head coach at Bucyrus for so many years. Then I transitioned to the offensive coordinator. Now I'm going to jump back in. Was it some apprehension, or were you really excited about it?
I think just for me, I didn't know that I wanted to put my family and all the stresses that go with that. It's being a head coach is when you go home at night, sometimes you can't turn it off sometimes.
Sure.
And I think it's the biggest thing that I struggled with before. So I'm trying to do a better job with that.
Well, it speaks for your family if they were willing to say, we want you to do what you want to do and what you love to do, and we're willing to take the consequences that come with it. That's a testament to a really strong family, sure. and it comes with faith as well. And I know that that's big for you, and I give you a lot of credit for that for sure, because it takes a lot of that when you're dealing with teenage kids and community.
Correct.
Which can really be a challenge for sure. health-wise going into week one, how you feel?
Oh,
Pretty good
we
shape?
got some banged up guys like anybody else. You know, we've got some guys that are banged up. We got to get them a little healthier, and I hope every week that somebody else usually gets hurt for something. It's football, so
Right.
we'll take those blows as they come.
You're going to head on the road going over to Riverdale week one. Samuel Petrie is the coach. It's a game that I went to last year in North Robinson that you won handily 55-7. And it's a team that struggled a little bit last year, just 3-7. What have you seen that's different about them? What concerns you about them when you're getting ready to see them on Friday?
We got to see them in 7-on-7 a bunch this summer, and obviously we have a lot of concerns about them. They bring back a better team. Sam's doing a great job. You got more kids out. Their quarterback, I think, had 2,500 yards all-purpose last year. He is a heck of a player, and their skill is really, really good. They're throwing the ball everywhere. They scored 40 points in 2 quarters
Oh, wow.
in their scrimmage against Willard. And I know Willard's struggling right now too, but their quarterback had almost 400 yards by himself.
Oh, my goodness.
So we are going to be a challenge. We're going to Riverdale. You know how good it is going to Riverdale.
Yep.
They'll play a better game there. I got a lot of concerns about their offense. I'm worried about the deep ball. I'm worried about their quarterback running everywhere, and our defense is going to be challenged.
Well, it's a good way to get started and see what you have, what you're made of for sure. And you really stepped up the non-league schedule this year. Smithville leaves. It's a game that you won. It's a long drive. You replace them with Lakota, your home opener next week. And then after that, a really solid East Knox program that's been in the playoffs. And that's only to help you when it comes postseason time, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we have Kansas Lakota week 2. They were 7-4 last year. Mike Hoffman's old stomping ground over
Right.
there at Winford. So we know that that's going to be a challenge. And then, obviously East Knox in the last decade has done a great job with their football program. They have a nice running back and a quarterback back.
Well, take care of week one. Next week we'll talk about hopefully a success and win over the Falcons of Riverdale, and get ready for your home opener as the Raiders of Lakota come in. Thanks a lot for
Thanks,
coming
Mike.
out.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. It's Crestline football right after this timeout.